You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
Right now we're trying to do a lot of education, trying to support a lot of the grassroots efforts that are happening right now around, skip the straw and, reusable bags.
Banning plastic bags and plastic straws. Many cities are making the change to help the environment, but what about here on the Suncoast? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on environmental improvements on the Suncoast in a moment, but first, our top stories at 7. Red tide continues to set its sights on the Suncoast, and some of our most precious sea life is paying the price. From fish to turtles, and now it appears manatees. 3 manatees have been found dead in Sarasota County in the last week as red tide lingers in the Gulf. Moat Marine is helping FWC recover dead manatees from the waters, this one being brought to shore earlier today in the Comus. Another young manatee found dead in Venice yesterday, and the third on Turtle Beach on Saturday. Moat Marine Laboratory is struggling to keep up with the calls that keeps coming in as they assist FWC in recovering the animals.
We have a lot of mating herds happening right now, and that's usually a single female being pursued by multiple males. Our females are huge. They're much larger than the males, so a lot of these calls are getting reported as a mom being pushed around by her babies.
If you see any animal in distress, call at the FWC or Moat Marine Laboratory. Both of those numbers are on our website, mysuncoast.com. Moat Marine Lab in Sarasota is finding new ways to combat red tide using your cell phone. Researchers have launched an app that allows you to mark the spot if you're experiencing the effects of red tide. The new app, called Citizen Science Information Collaboration, lets beachgoers mark where they are seeing dead fish or having respiratory irritation.
It's a way to help fill the gaps between the information that scientists collect and our beach conditions reporting system.
Researchers have also partnered with NOAA to train citizen scientists to use cell phone microscope. Citizens will get a sample of the water, then upload a 30-second video of it on an app which will calculate the concentration of red tide in the sample by its shape, size, and swimming pattern. ABC7 has been out front of this season's red tide crisis, covering the story from every angle. Log on to mysuncoast.com to access our catalog of coverage, including answers to your most frequently asked questions. Florida lawmakers have until Friday to respond to a request for a special session to revisit the state's Stand Your Ground law. All 16 Democrats and 23 of the 41 House Democrats, including Sarasota Representative Margaret Good, signed the request. It is asking the Florida Department of State to poll the entire legislature on holding a special session. The request comes in response to the July 23rd shooting death of Marquise McLaughlin in the parking lot of a Clearwater convenience store. No charges have been filed against the shooter, with Pinellas County Sheriff saying the gunman is protected under the long controversial law. The officers hired for Sarasota's new school district police force will soon step into the classroom ready to serve and protect our children, but are all of them ready? 25 school resource officers have been hired by Sarasota County, but only 14 of them, along with 2 sergeants, will be ready to step into the classroom on Monday. The district says the officers have an average of 23 years of law enforcement experience under their belts.
We have guys from NYPD that were in terrorism task force. We have SWAT guys. We have guys that are tactically sound. And the good thing about this department that I see, and one of my biggest things, is we're starting from scratch.
We went through a bunch of training, FDLE training, different computer training, different approaches on how to get into the schools. Of course, every school is going to be different.
14 of the new school resource officers come from Florida. Another 11 come from up north or out west. Florida reacted to the Marjory Stoneman Douglas massacre by becoming the first state to require police or armed guards at all public schools, but many school districts are struggling to meet the mandate. In the first comprehensive statewide look, an Associated Press survey found all 67 county-wide school districts in Florida will cover all campuses as schools reopen, but many are having difficulty finding and funding qualified officers. Some are controlling costs by supplementing police with armed civilian security, including, in some cases, staff members. With school back in session less than a week the Sarasota Police Department wants to remind everyone there is a zero tolerance policy for speeding in school zones and passing school buses stopped for students boarding or leaving the bus. Traffic is expected to increase next week, so allow for extra travel time. Make sure everyone in the car is wearing a seatbelt. Pay attention to crossing guards and obey school zones. In all school zones in Sarasota are 15 miles an hour. Fines for speeding in a school zone or passing a school bus can range from $156 to $456. Now let's head over to ABC7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. The first alert forecast. Bob.
Finds there. Looking at the Casey Key webcam showing pretty calm conditions out on the waters due to an east wind today. A little sea breeze developed late in the afternoon. That's good news as far as red tide goes. When you have an east wind, you don't get the wave action, which causes the red tide to get into the atmosphere and then blow into the coast and into the beaches, causing the problems with respiratory problems up and down west central Florida. There are a few showers off in the distance too. You can see that activity right there with the latest snapshot, and high pressure to the north and east of us is providing us with that easterly component. Again, a little sea breeze does develop in the afternoon, but it doesn't penetrate too far inland, and it doesn't have much of a chance of doing so. Now, we have had some heavy storms around, but that high pressure ridge is going to shift over the next 48 hours and eventually park itself down south in the Florida Straits, south of Florida, which will change our wind direction more to a westerly direction. You can see all these storms are moving off from the southeast to the northwest. There's not a lot of heavy activity around. The one in southeast parts of Manatee County generating some lightning right now, but light rain from Inglewood, Northport to Venice and up near Osprey and Palmer Ranch heading off toward the northwest. So we could see some light rain possibly hanging on here into places like Sarasota and Gulf Gate Estates as well as Bayshore Gardens, but don't think it'll make it all the way to Bayshore Gardens with that particular line. That wind flow is all important in determining the harmful impacts of this algae bloom, and you can see we'll stay out of the east on Wednesday, east to southeast, and then eventually though things start to change a little bit in the afternoon with more of a west component, especially down in Punta Gorda, Arcadia, and Wauchula. As far as the dry air is concerned, it has been hanging around west central Florida, so we've had limited shower and thunderstorm activity. Certainly they've been around, but not as many as you would normally expect this time of year. And this upper level feature continues to work its way off to the west-northwest. It's not really enhancing storms much at all. Maybe on the south end of it and on the east end of it, we don't expect that to be much of a factor for us. Our rain chances staying fairly low right through the day on Wednesday and into Thursday. So tonight, a few evening showers and then generally clearing skies to start things off on Wednesday. Lots of sunshine and just a few showers developing and popping up along that sea breeze front later on in the afternoon and having more of a tendency to move inland. As far as our website is concerned, if you want to find more weather information, just go to mysuncoast.com. We have an interesting story there posted on the different wind shift and change as far as the red tide is concerned for us here along the Sun Coast. Just go to mysuncoast.com and click on the weather section there. You can also check out the interactive radar as well. Alan?
Thanks, Bob. Plastic bags, straws, bottles, and containers, those materials add up to millions of tons of plastic that end up in our oceans every year. ABC7's Erica Jackson shares the efforts made locally to reduce that number.
The city of Sarasota tells us it can't enforce a ban on those plastic items because of state laws, but it has its own ways of keeping our land clean and green.
The public response to plastics is one of the good news stories of this year.
Keeping the earth clean is a priority for Anna Maria Island resident Andy Melee. The Suncoast waterkeeper says he's focused on reducing the amount of plastic going into local waters, starting with a reduction of plastic bag and straw usage.
I am just thrilled at the number of places that are now, serving paper straws.
Melee isn't the only person on the island skipping the straw. Dozens of restaurants on Anna Maria and Siesta Key offer biodegradable straws to customers upon request. But unlike several other cities in the U.S., it's still legal to use plastic straws and bags throughout the entire state of Florida.
There are a lot of laws in place in the state of Florida that prevent us from banning items like plastic bags.
Sarasota's sustainability manager, Stevie Freeman Montez, tells us there's a state preemption that prevents local government from banning these items, but they're taking matters into their own hands.
So right now we're trying to do a lot of education, trying to support a lot of the grassroots efforts that are happening right now around skip the straw and, reusable bags.
Without a plastic bag or straw ban in place, Sarasota is working on helping the environment through climate change initiatives and renewable energy efforts.
I think a lot of people who move here and live here wonder why we don't have more solar in our community and across the state.
The city and Sarasota County are both sponsoring a co-op for homeowners to purchase solar panels in bulk at a discounted price. It's part of the city's effort to operate community-wide on 100% renewable energy by 2045.
We're really hitting that goal and target hard and trying to understand how we can get there and what the costs are and how we can incentivize and help support residents and businesses also doing efficiency and renewable energy.
But Melee says those homes and buildings are also problematic since the amount of greenery in Sarasota and Manatee counties is quickly going down.
This is part of the new urbanism that we've been sort of, persuaded is going to be good for us.
The city says it's planning how to better manage its green space, including its policy to incorporate parks within the urban core. Freeman Montez says sustainability is a priority for the city, since many residents moved here for the beautiful weather and clean environment.
They're really active and passionate about the issue.
We need to continue to keep an eye on how much trash goes into the water. The World Economic Forum says the ocean is expected to contain more plastic than fish by the year 2050. Reporting in Sarasota, Erica Jackson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
No recycled arguments at the trapezoid. We'll be back in just a moment.
When ABC7 declares a first alert weather day, it means we can expect major changes to weather conditions here along the Suncoast.
It means there could be severe, potentially dangerous weather ahead.
We tell you when a first alert weather day is coming because we want you to be prepared.
A first alert weather day is an advance warning. We'll let you know about any changes in the weather when the first signs appear.
ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
What do you get when you cross your tired, aching back with this fragile egg? The Egg Sitter Cushion, an amazing new flex cushion that supports your backside and spine so well you can sit on an egg without breaking it. Incredible!
You want me to sit on this egg? Okay. Can't believe I'm doing this. I don't even feel it. It didn't even break? Oh, I was wondering about that. Now that's a good cushion.
The honeycomb design is constructed of Elasticor that absorbs pressure points by collapsing in on itself. That's why even this egg won't break under direct pressure. Now long days at the office will be more comfortable, dinner more enjoyable, and painful car rides a thing of the past. Get your Egg Sitter Support Cushion for just $39.99. It comes with a free non-slip washable cover and our 10-year comfort guarantee. But wait, call right now and you can get a second cushion. Just pay separate fee. Call now.
Call 1-800-232-1564. That's 1-800-232-1564. Call now or go to eggsitter.com. Order now.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system could make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now, SoClean.com has released the world's first automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs and bacteria. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer, risk-free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
The SoClean works and it's a really effective product, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to use.
SoClean works on all popular CPAP machines and masks, destroying CPAP germs and bacteria without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and walk away. Voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Welcome back. Can we do the right thing even if there is no enforceable law against it? A growing number of local restaurants and stores are getting rid of plastic straws and bags. It's an undeniable impact the plastic has had on the environment. Bags and straws are consumed by fish and other sea life, maiming and sometimes killing them. There is concern about plastics getting into the food chain and impacting our health. But while many states and communities are banning the use of plastic straws and bags, not so in Florida, and state law prohibits municipalities from going their own way. Joining us for more are Andy Melee, the Suncoast waterkeeper, and Sarasota businessman Martin Hyde. And Andy, I'll start with you. As you saw in Erica's story, there are a lot of businesses and restaurants around here who are already making the switch to plastic straws and trying to get rid of plastic. Can we see the immediate impact on that?
It's the immediate impact is just on making us feel good for doing a little bit more of the right thing. There's a mountain of garbage in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that's twice the size of Texas. It's an island. It's floating out there. It's all densely packed in garbage. The images of sea turtles wrapped and shrouded in plastic bags and manatees disgorging the contents of, their stomachs, which are plastic, that kind of thing. That stuff really hits hard. So even though we don't see the mountain of plastic, the island of plastic, we see the images. The images hit hard and they hurt.
Not all that often. And Martin, is that part of the problem, that we don't see those images every single day, and us people are less reactive when we can't see and touch the problem?
Yeah, I just said, an old phrase from my childhood: what the eye doesn't see, the heart doesn't grieve over. When it is there, when it's in your face, we can smell the red tide, we worry and we talk about it. We're talking about something twice the size of Texas, but we can't see it. It should concern us. We should want to do something about it. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. When I came, I was ignorant of such things. But living here in the ecosystem that we have, I've come to appreciate that we don't have that luxury.
Okay, our conversation on the environmental improvements on the Suncoast continues right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. And looking at the Lakewood Ranch webcam showing some clouds around occasionally today. We had a few brief showers, and now there's a little break in the action. Still some light rain heading in that general vicinity, but for the most part, it's fairly dry across most of the viewing area right now. That large storm complex that was down to our south is pretty much separated in three separate areas now. One off of Venice, another one into East Manatee County, and another one now into east and southeastern portions of Hardy County, as well as into Highlands County. Heaviest storm by far is this one near the Myakka Head and just north of Myakka City. The tops on these growing up to 45,000 feet, and that does generate lightning once it gets past 30,000 feet. This one too, up at about 35,000 feet, and this is right there in Highlands County. Rainfall earlier today in Palmetto, Bradenton brought about a ½ inch to an inch in some isolated areas, and not as much out on the islands though. Fairly quiet there as far as rain goes. An inch estimated in Parrish, Florida. Northport had a little bit of rainfall earlier, as well as near Nokomis, stretching up toward the extension there. The dry air in place continues to suppress our normal afternoon and evening thunderstorm pattern that we typically see a wide variety of heavy storms moving on through, but we haven't really seen that over the past couple of days. It'll stay that way on Wednesday as a result of that dry air still kind of moving through, although it will start to moisten up a little bit as we head into the weekend. Things will stay relatively dry. There will still be a few showers around, and these will have a tendency to move inland throughout the afternoon and evening. We saw the ones today moving off southeast to northwest. Well, that is going to be changing a little bit on Wednesday, more so Thursday and Friday. The storms that do develop will have an impact on inland counties of our viewing area more so than the coastal areas. We will have a chance for a few morning showers though as we shift into this pattern of west to southwesterly wind flow throughout the majority of the day. The planner for Wednesday looks to be pretty good. Sunshine to start the day off. We'll warm up to near seasonal averages, right around 90 degrees, and that rain chance very small, 30% for a few passing showers. Our fourth named storm of the season has developed, and it's not a true tropical system. It's in the north central Atlantic. Its name is Debbie. It's not going to be around long either, just a day and a half for the most part as it moves over some much colder water in the North Atlantic right now. You can see that circulation quite clearly on the satellite imagery, and the latest on it, 40-mile-an-hour winds. It's moving to the north at 15. Just a problem for shipping interest, and it's not much. With a 40-mile-an-hour wind, we can expect that to move off to the north and eventually off to the northeast, and then dissipate on in through Thursday and early Friday. So not a problem. Debbie is no concern to any land area at this time. 87 in Orlando. It's 87 now in Sarasota, 91 in Tallahassee. Temperatures where it's rained, it's cooled down a bit. In places like Punta Gorda, Northport, you're at 80 degrees, 78 in Arcadia. It's still 87 in Sarasota downtown. Venice, you're at 84 with a shower just offshore. And the heat index is in the mid-90s for the most part where it hasn't rained. Temperature 87 degrees and it feels like 95 at the Sarasota Braden Airport. West to southwest winds at 8. Our high today was pretty close to average. So was our low, just 1 degree above it. And as far as the satellite goes across the U.S., trough of low pressure will develop in the eastern third of the nation. Unfortunately for the folks out west, high pressure will continue to dominate out there, and that means that fire causing all sorts of headaches there in California will continue to be a problem, as no major storm systems anticipated to move through over the upcoming days into California. So for boating tomorrow, winds out there in the waters will start off out of the south, turn to the southwest late in the day. Seas running less than 2 feet with a light chop, and the 7-day forecast. I mentioned chances for rain below seasonal averages. Typically it's around 40 to 50%. We'll get back to that on Saturday and Sunday, but it won't be our normal variety. A few morning showers near the coast, and the main focus will be inland in the afternoon, both on Saturday and Sunday. Alan will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
When you are home alone, an emergency can become a tragedy. However, with any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, whether in the bathroom,
I've fallen in the shower.
at home,
Help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
and on the go.
Help! I've fallen in the park and I can't get up.
Don't worry, help is on the way.
Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-518-0221. That's 1-800-518-0221. Call now, 1-800-518-0221. For a free brochure, call 1-800-518-0221.
According to Golf Digest, 2 of the nation's top golf resorts are on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, the Auburn Opelika Marriott at Grand National, and the Renaissance Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa in Birmingham. Plus, the Marriott at Grand National was recognized as Hotel of the Year by Marriott International. Experience luxury and world-class golf Southern style. Visit rtjgolf/resorts or call 800-949-4444 to book your trip to the trail.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his
I
backpack.
can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
I took my first handful of pills, and that's when all my priorities seemed to change.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes.
He just assumed that they would have medication.
He'd go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
I wish I knew really what these prescription pills were.
We were so naive about the whole drug thing.
These are all synthetic forms of heroin.
Keep your medication locked up because you'll never notice that a pill is gone.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
Welcome back. We are talking about giving up plastic straws and bags because of the impact on the environment. And joining us for more are Andy Melee, the Suncoast Waterkeeper, and Sarasota businessman Martin Hyde. Martin, we talked about what local businesses are doing. The question becomes whether there should be laws that you have to do it, whether it's on a a citywide basis, countywide, or statewide. Other cities and states do it. Why don't we?
I think that's confusing for everybody, frankly, until I looked into it in the last few years, this complication of home rule versus state legislation. There's a lot of stuff that gets frustrated here. It seems like logical that we know best what we need here locally, and our people vote their commissioners in, but their hands are tied. And they literally can't, or they're personally liable, change something that is legislated up in Tallahassee. I think it's frustrating.
Andy, a lot of people dipping into the political world are against Washington mandating what we have to do, but when it comes to local bases, they don't mind if the state government made a rule and allowed local municipalities to do what they want.
It doesn't make as much noise when it happens at the state level, and I think that's most of it. I mean, the idea that this group of bandits in Tallahassee, governor and legislature, are killing home rule, telling us what we can and cannot do in our local communities in terms of everything from development and the Burt Harris Act. The counties have virtually no say over their own development patterns, the cities likewise, and a simple thing like banning plastic bags should be just a total no-brainer, and yet there must be a big plastic bag lobby up there somewhere.
All right, we are just getting warmed up. Our conversation on the environmental improvements on the Suncoast will continue after a quick break. Stay with us.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TrueStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TrueStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
You now have the power to prioritize your Facebook feed and get local news and information from the team you trust. Go to the ABC7 Sarasota page on Facebook. Give us a like, then click following and choose See First. That's it. Customize even more by choosing notifications. Choose breaking news, posts, live videos, anything you want to see in real time. Take control of your newsfeed and stay connected to what's happening in your community with ABC7 on Facebook.
It's summer on the Suncoast, and you know what that means. It's Friday Fest season.
And you are invited.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy some of today's most popular country songs, mixed with a healthy dose of hits from pop, rock, dance, and the blues, August 17th with Sarasota's Rebel Heart.
With high-energy music, food trucks, beverage vendors, and more, it's the perfect spot to enjoy our summer sunset over the bay.
For more information, go to this number or go to mysuncoast.com/FridayFest.
So I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
The ABC7 First Alert weather app just got even better. It's easy to use once you download it. First, tell the app to follow you, so you get alerts pinpointed to exactly where you are. Then customize your settings with all the places you go, from the beach to grandmother's house. Get accurate alerts for everyone you care about. You can even pick which weather alerts and categories you want and what they sound like. More ways to customize and more ways to keep your family safe. Download the ABC7 First Alert Weather app today.
You're watching ABC7 News at 7:30.
Welcome back. We are talking about the growing move to get rid of plastic straws and bags here on the Suncoast and more. And joining us is Andy Maley, the Suncoast waterkeeper, and Sarasota businessman Martin Hyde. I want to turn to solar for a moment, which there are a lot of people in my neighborhood are putting up solar panels, but you get into this situation where because of our interesting state laws, Andy, there are just so many people who can do that and get the tax advantage, and then the electric companies can shut it off.
You know, as a nation, we are allergic to central planning because central planning harkens back to the Soviet Union. The idea of turning the Sunshine State into a place that has decentralized power on every mall roof, over every parking lot, over every house and everything like that, just gives everybody the heebie-jeebies. I don't think it'll ever happen. It's going to have to just sort of crawl its way up out of the oceans like some evolutionary creature out of our past and just happen over the years. It's awful. It's just horrible to watch.
Martin, I don't get it because everybody wants lower bills here, and you know, once upon a time in the 1970s, Florida led the nation in solar panel manufacturing. With that comes a lot of jobs, and I thought we were all about jobs here in this economy here. But right now, most of the solar panels that are out on the market are made in China.
Well, that's frustrating. What's also frustrating is what Andy said, is that this is really a national thing. This is something that could and should be legislated at federal level. So far as solar panels are concerned, the rules should apply the same whether you're in Idaho or whether you're in Florida. You should get X amount of tax break. And of course, one of the big things, and everything it's cliche, but everything's about money. You know, we have a power company that's omnipotent. You know, we have in the city a 40-year agreement with FP&L.
Well, why don't we have a political will with our state legislators, and you know who you are, to do something about it?
I don't think it's on people's radar. You know, Andy made a point about things that people can see, and we talk about the same issues every time in every election cycle, and we overlook things that perhaps we can have a more meaningful impact that we could definitively do something about.
It's money in politics, Alan. You know it. You know perfectly well. It's ever since Citizens United passed, we have no more democracy. It's all being controlled by, in this case, big oil still has more money than anybody else, and they're squashing solar.
Or is it something else, Andy? Again, dipping into the political realm here, that people are supportive of solar panel, they are supportive of banning plastic bags and straws, but when it gets down to it in the voting booth, that's not what they're voting for. They're voting for what candidate is better in terms of my wallet and my pocketbook.
Yes and no. Look, we got a problem. There's 8 million tons of plastic going into the oceans every year. Our big trading partner, China, is the 900-pound gorilla. They're putting out most of it. Malaysia, Indonesia, putting out more. We don't put out that much in terms of actual plastics going into the ocean, but you know, we lag behind Rwanda. Rwanda has a more rigorous ban on plastics than we do, than in fact the rest of the world does. In fact, they take it so seriously they put people in jail. I'm not saying we should go that way, but it's just, you know, when the United States is lagging behind Rwanda, you got to think there's a problem.
So, Martin, when we talk about all the wonderful citizen initiatives that are taking place on the Suncoast right now in terms of banning the straws and this and that, that's all well and fine here, but you know, we have an administration right now that is rolling back all these EPA regulations, and they are overjoyed about it. Is that where part of the problem is?
I think it is. I mean, these citizen initiatives, the city of Sarasota just ran something a couple of months ago, Done with a Gun. I asked the other day, no one's handed a gun in yet. And you're asking people to do things nicely, that's fine and dandy, but it doesn't work. The complexity of environmental law and the complexity of environmental issues should be left to experts like the Sierra Club. It shouldn't really be left to politicians. Politicians are going to go, and always going to go, with where the money is, where the support is, and where the support is much more coming from big oil, big electricity companies, power companies, and so on and so forth.
In other administrations, and in other times in Tallahassee, there have been more balanced conversations. This is a conversation that's just fallen off the face of the earth. The environment is not being represented. Science is not being represented. It's grim. Even as something as basic as economics is being warped and twisted, you know.
But Andy, I'll get back to the question I asked a few minutes ago. If people feel so strongly the way that you do, then vote on it. And people are not voting for or demanding from the candidates who are running for office right now how they feel about issues ranging from solar to plastics to whether or not they should do something about the EPA, which is basically rolling back every environmental regulation known to mankind.
It's barely on the electoral radar, even here, the environment. I keep telling my Democrat friends, run on the stinking environment. You know, the constitutional conservatives are taking over the environment. They're running on the environment. The Democrats are not.
I could ask you the same question. If many Republicans feel the way that you do on that, why not have Republicans run for office who are going to say, whoa, we do care about the environment and we don't want what we're seeing in Washington going on?
Well, I don't think it shouldn't be a partisan issue. It should be a common sense issue. Clearly,
but today it is a partisan
I understand, but the truth is that we are only here for a step in time. We don't have the right to divert the nature of the planet.
Right, and even today, even with our Senate race and our governor's race, there are stories about the amount of money that Governor Scott and his family are getting from whether it's Big Sugar or other environmental interests or non-interests. This is not just in Washington. This is in Tallahassee.
And his protege Adam Putnam too is receiving buckets of money from those huge special interests.
On the other hand, dipping back into politics again, Ron DeSantis, who is running for governor, is not taking money for Big Sugar, and we've been talking about Big Sugar and the green slime from Lake Okeechobee a lot lately.
We need to revisit. It's a fundamental and fatal flaw in our system, as wonderful a country as we have here. The political money, the campaigning and the lobbying is out of control, and it taints and twists everything.
Alan, plastics going into the ocean is an economic problem at its root. Corporations are passing their pollution, just like the old days of Love Canal. It's not like toxic ooze, it's plastic. It's getting pushed downstream and it's accumulating in the environment in these huge islands in the middle of the ocean. The corporations who made the profits from selling and packaging and so on of those things need to step up or be made to step up to either pay for mandatory recycling. Recycling should not be a market-based thing. It should be a societal value that is inflexible and immutable, and it should be paid for a combination of market and corporate in order to rectify the imbalance in the markets.
And we'll have to leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you very much. We want to thank our guest, Andy Mealy, the Suncoast waterkeeper, and Sarasota businessman Martin Hyde. When we return, we're going to be joined by a Sarasota teenager, Emma Bella Rudd, who just returned from Washington, D.C., where she met with lawmakers, and we'll hear her story after a quick break. Stay with us.
A policeman stopped.
Yeah, it was the lady parked next to me.
I called my wife.
My dad got up in the middle of the night.
My neighbor helped me out.
I called a tow truck.
Anyone can jumpstart your car, but for free installation and $10 off Duracell Ultra car batteries, there's no one like Batteries Plus bulbs.
I'll install it myself.
I'd like you to do it.
Visit batteriesplus.com for a store near you.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
It's
It's hard to see when you're outside at night. It's time for the Atomic Beam Sunblast, the new solar-powered light that's super bright. Atomic Beam Sunblast lets you add a light anywhere, and the atomic solar panels charge the built-in lithium-ion battery quickly. Then the 180-degree motion sensor turns on the light when you get near and automatically turns off when you disappear. Look, here's a best-selling outdoor solar light, and here's the super bright Atomic Beam Sunblast. Get the super bright Atomic Beam Sunblast for only $19.99. But wait, call right now and you can double your order and get a second Sunblast, plus our best-selling Atomic Beam Flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. That's 2 Atomic Beam Sunblasts and the Atomic Beam Flashlight. Call now.
Call 1-800-431-6640. That's 1-800-431-6640. Or visit mysunblast.com. So call 1-800-431-6640. Order now.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system could make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now, SoClean.com has released the world's first automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs and bacteria. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer, risk-free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
The SoClean works, and it's a really effective product, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to use.
SoClean works on all popular CPAP machines and masks, destroying CPAP germs and bacteria without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and walk away. Voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
Welcome back. A few weeks ago, we talked to a local high school student heading to Washington, D.C. to observe what is going on in the U.S. Senate and the White House. Emma Bella Rudd is back, and what did she learn? Emma Bella, you go to Pinecrest?
Riverview High School.
Riverview.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I apologize there. And tell us about the group that you went with. It's a nonpartisan group, correct?
Yeah, so I went to Girls State this summer, and out of the 350 girls that attended, I was chosen one out of the 2 girls to be senators up at Girls Nation. And so basically we do everything at a federal level instead.
So you spent several days in the U.S. Senate and then several days also at the White House?
Yes, so we did Senate sessions, and then we were fortunate enough to visit the White House one of the days out of the week.
I want to ask you what you did in the Senate and what you learned there, but I also want to ask you about the atmosphere there, because you know we live in such interesting times there, and we hear about the frustration in the Senate that not much of anything is really taking place right now. What did you pick up and what did you glean from the senators and the staff that you met and talked to?
Yes, so we as Girls Nation senators, 16 to 17-year-olds, we conducted our own Senate session, but we were actually fortunate enough to visit our actual Senate and see how it works there. We had a fantastic time in the Senate, actually seeing 100 girls across the nation very passionate about their issues, top of their class, coming in and sharing their personal views was very inspiring, and seeing all of them share their personal views just was very enlightening and a very great learning experience. But actually going into the Senate, you could see everyone there doing almost the same thing, and it was kind of a learning experience seeing all that happen right in front of me.
Did you pick up in terms of what is going on these days in Washington? There's so much going on right now, and a lot of it is controversial. Did any of the senators talk to you about that and talk about the environment that they are living in and working in these days?
Well, we were fortunate enough to meet with Senator Nelson and Senator Rubio, and we talked to them about what they're dealing with right now and a little bit about our environment. That's a big issue that they actually work together on, which was really awesome with everything going on. We're a little concerned about that, but then seeing them that they work together was an amazing, enlightening experience.
They are very interesting, because one's a Republican, one's a Democrat, but they have a very good working relationship, and they work together on a lot of bills that help Florida.
Yes.
Now, you went over to the White House. I know that you thought you were going to be seeing the president. You didn't get to see the president, but you did get to see this man, the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence. What was that like?
That was amazing. We went into the White House, which was an amazing experience. We got to speak to him for a little bit, and he congratulated us on our, opportunity. This is an amazing opportunity, actually.
previous president was actually in the Boys Nation. So it was just amazing to have that opportunity as well.
All right, quick Trivial Pursuit question. Which president are you talking about?
Bill Clinton, actually. And so he was actually a Boys Nation senator several years ago, but but actually meeting, and it could be footsteps for the future. We could be meeting with a future girl president, so it's awesome.
There's a famous picture of Bill Clinton, a young Bill Clinton with President Kennedy in the Rose Garden there. Maybe one day there will be a President Annabella Rudd with Vice President Pence.
That would be amazing. It was an amazing experience, and I'm so glad I got to meet him.
Okay, Amabella, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers are saying about last night's show on the battle over dredging Big Pass to renourish Lido Beach. There is a continuing legal action, and there is continuing concern about whether the planned dredging could damage Siesta Key Beach, one of the biggest sources of revenue in the county. We went to Facebook for your thoughts, and Robert says, it's important to protect our entire coastline, and since the Army Corps of Engineers says it won't hurt Siesta, and that is what they do, I don't understand such selfishness. But Bonnie says a couple of years ago they renourished Venice Beach from the jetty down. I think it was about $7 million to do. Looks like nothing was ever done. Mother Nature will always win. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/MySuncoast. We want to thank Amabella Rudd for joining us tonight. When we return, it is Election Day in several states, including Ohio, where a congressional seat is up for grabs. But right now, let's get a final check on our first alert forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Well, we're taking a look at the Sarasota Tower Cam, Alan, and I'll tell you, we have had a beautiful sunset over the past couple of days. Get a look at this. Calm conditions out there in the waters. Occasionally a shower makes its way across parts of the Keys, but all in all, not too bad out there, and it looks like we'll see a gorgeous sunset tonight. And in New York, it's been storming there. In New York, we've had some heavy showers and thunderstorms there. If we can check that tower cam out too, you'll see the Empire State Building. Right there it is. They're getting a heavy downpour. They've had some pretty big storms there with quite a bit of lightning around, and I know our producer really likes this shot, so I made sure that we show it, and there it is. There you go. Here's what's happening. Titan radar picture showing a few lightning strikes here along the Sun Coast. Typically, we see a lot more during this time of year, but we're not seeing as many due to some dry air in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere. On top of that, we have not had a big sea breeze develop, and that's been good news for the red tide today. A lot of strong east wind earlier today kept the harmful impacts, at least, offshore for the most part, although we have had a little bit of a sea breeze develop here as of late. You can see this one cell in particular just around Lakewood Ranch generating some lightning, also hanging on right there just south of Siesta, some rain moving on in. But this one is by far producing the lightning and the heaviest storm from Lakewood Ranch, spreading off to State Road 70 and 64, heading off toward Heritage Harbor and also Waterleaf, as well as on into, it looks like, State Road 64 and I-75 here in a little bit. Rainfall rate's pretty impressive, too, over 2 inches per hour with this particular cell, and it's up to about 40,000 feet. It's moving to the northwest at around 10 miles an hour. Elsewhere, showers are starting to wind down a bit over Hardy County as well as into Highlands County. Some rain occurring near Sebring, but that is weakening as we talk. You can see this low pressure spinning right here. It's an upper level low, which is just about worn out as far as it goes. It's moving to the west-northwest now, and looks like it will continue to bring us that dry air and east wind throughout the day on Wednesday, but then things change on Thursday. We've been talking about this for the past 3 hours now. We're going to see this onshore flow begin to dominate our weather, and that means we could see the harmful red tide impacts become a little bit more prevalent here along the west coast of Florida with a west wind. East wind kind of keeps all the spray, or at least the red tide and the high surf off the coast, but with a west wind we start to see a little bit more wave action, and there's a little bit more turbidity in the Gulf of Mexico, which actually causes the red tide to get airborne and then push on into area beaches. So that'll happen on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You can see generally inland storms on Thursday afternoon and evening. There will be a few coastal showers in the morning like we saw earlier this summer. Well, temperatures into the mid-80s now up and down the coast. Longboat Key at 85, Sarasota the same, Palmair 86 degrees, 86 in Rosedale, and 84 in Lake Sarasota. Laurel Oak, you're at 84. Notice the cooler temperatures here. They had a little bit more rainfall down here earlier, and some cloud cover keeping things into the upper 70s in Northport, Inglewood, and Rotunda. Currently, the airport It's 87 degrees. It's feeling like 95, but that is about 30 minutes old from the automated system there at the airport. Well, a cold front is coming down into the southeast. A little unusual to see that this time of year. We have a trough of low pressure in the eastern third of the nation as well. That is going to shift our wind pattern, as I mentioned, on into Thursday and continuing to the weekend. South winds turn to the southwest at 5 to 10 knots, so we'll have a light chop on the bays and inland water. 7-day forecast. Less chance for rain. There'll still be a few around tomorrow afternoon, 30% for scattered storms, 20% on Thursday and Friday. Those will be the morning variety near the coast, and then inland storms in the afternoon. And then we bounce back up to our more seasonal averages as far as our rain chances go on Saturday and Sunday, with the most of the heavier rainfall inland during the late afternoon and evening. Alan will be back with primetime headlines right after this.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Another pair of satisfied emotions. Looks to me like elation and maybe some amazement. It's part of the Honda Summer Spectacular Event experience. You could say satisfaction comes standard here, just like the Honda Accord comes standard with a luxurious, roomy interior. All at the Honda Summer Spectacular Event.
We see it all the time.
Visit your local Honda dealer and test drive the Honda Accord, 2018's North American Car of the Year.
Investigate TV tackles the tough topics.
What happened to my life was awful.
When your health is compromised, we investigate.
They are really drug dealers in white coats.
Corporate greed exposed.
How do you trust them to run this program?
The powerful held accountable with in-depth journalism led by award-winning journalist Lee Zurich. We're your watchdog. Search Investigate TV on your Roku device. Download it now.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
Checking primetime headlines, it's election day for millions of Americans with big primary races in several states, plus a congressional seat up for grabs in Ohio. Republicans are doing everything they can to keep that usually safe seat, but these are a lot fewer safe seats for Republicans these days. ABC's Emily Rao has the latest from New York.
In a district where Donald Trump won by double digits, all eyes are on Ohio's special election for a seat in the House.
Ohio, I love Ohio.
President Trump visiting just days ago, pushing for Republican congressional candidate Troy Balderson in a tight race against Democrat Danny O'Connor.
Vote for Troy Balderson. He's going to help everybody.
But one Ohio voter and self-described lifelong Republican Mike McCandless isn't so sure, campaigning for the Democrat instead.
I feel he's the right candidate for our district.
Ohio, the last major test between Republicans and Democrats before November, but stakes are also high in Kansas, where in a surprise move, President Trump endorsed longtime ally Chris Kobach instead of the state's sitting GOP governor, Jeff Collier.
President Trump has been watching the election. I speak with him regularly, and we've been checking in with each other to see how things are going.
But the president's endorsement ruffling feathers within the Republican establishment.
A victory for Kobach in the primary could pose trouble for Republicans in the fall. They think that Kobach may have a hard time beating Democrats because of his extreme views on immigration.
And another race to watch, the gubernatorial primary in Michigan, said to be a good marker of how both parties are faring in the Rust Belt. Emily Rao, ABC News, New York.
We'll have an update on the results of the election tonight coming up at 11 o'clock. Rick Gates, a longtime deputy of former Trump campaign manager Chairman Paul Manafort, testifying in federal court today. On the stand, he said Manafort approved shifting money through offshore accounts. Gates also says he and an accountant for Manafort prepared fake documents to send to a bank to secure a loan. Gates is testifying for the second day in Manafort's tax and fraud trial. He said a court day earlier stole money from Manafort, and the two didn't report 15 foreign accounts to the IRS. Gates said they knew it was illegal. Demi Lovato is in rehab after a drug overdose nearly 2 weeks ago. The singer was released from a Los Angeles hospital over the weekend for further treatment at an inpatient facility. Lovato has received a myriad of support on social media from Ariana Grande, Ellen DeGeneres, and Jennifer Lopez. Sent well wishes to the singer, who has been candid about her battles with addiction. Last month, Lovato revealed she relapsed after 6 years of sobriety in her new single, Sober. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.